here. Thanks for getting up early with me. I'm glad to see you guys. I really am. We have coaches in other, in other parts of the United States, and then in just even in like other countries. And one of my coaches, I was talking to her and I was like, "Oh, I'll see you Saturday for the book club." She's like, "Oh no, it's like 4 a.m. where I live." She's like, "I'm going to catch the recording." So just know that some of our friends on other coasts are definitely not up yet. So don't take it personal if they're not here. So we were supposed to cover chapters 5 through 8 for this week. And they were really like factual. Did you guys feel that way? Like I was taking notes like crazy. So what I wanted to do this morning was I have just like 3 topic like points that I wanted to talk about, and I really want to let you guys lead the discussion. So excuse me, Michelle says I'm into chapter 7. Okay, yeah, that's great. We're going to be through the book pretty soon. I'm excited. It's going fast. All right, so what I want to do was let's go over to the page 71. So do you guys have your books with you? If you do, open up to 71. If you don't, what I'm referring to are the rules for reaching out. So on page 71, she goes through, like most of the chapter, she goes through each of these rules for reaching out. She calls them like her rules to live by. But as I read them, I was like, wow, these are incredible. And I really like them, especially for somebody who maybe was new to coaching. I think this really spells out like how you can have your conversations. So I wanted to hear from you guys what you felt were the most eye-opening parts to the rules for reaching out. So looking at this list, which one really resonated with you? And I'm going to give you guys a chance to chat about it and kind of share why. So I will let you guys do the talking. For me, one of them was really like, honestly, like at this point in my business, it's definitely like, if I could teach a new coach something, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Like, it's so easy to be like, okay, so-and-so from work said they were going to buy. And then all of a sudden, like, it's a week later and you still haven't sold your challenge pack. And you're like, what's going on? So really, like, unless I see them in the back office, they are not a customer yet. So I really live by that one. That one's important for me. But I'm going to go ahead and mute and give you guys a chance to chat.
What page was that? Sorry. Or what chapter?
It's 71. It's the rules for reach out. So on 71, she lists all 14 of them, but that's mostly what they talked about in like the whole chapter. So if you look down,
I really liked leading with the business and then asking them for then being a customer before just starting with the products and asking them to be a customer. It's kind of like, what's that? It's kind of like rule number 14 and 6, and it's like a bunch of them wished together.
If somebody could send me a picture of that whole list, it'd be great, because I have the audiobook and I've been trying to write those rules down. But I would love that.
I'll send it to you, Michelle.
Thank you. So I totally agree with Vanessa. When she said that, when she said, if they're not interested in your products, why would you then default to the business? I was like, oh, yeah. So I really thought I thought the same thing, like that this is perfect for new coaches. And when she talks about the confidence level, and I don't know if it's in this part or not, but the 3-way call, I'm like, that is really good, because I remember when Kellen referred me to Sarah, we didn't have a 3-way call, but I had a call with Sarah. And one thing I think that's good about that, even if you do it with another teammate, is that sometimes if the person makes an appointment with you, they might not take it too seriously. But if they're making an appointment with you and somebody else, like it just makes, like, ups the level of importance maybe for them. And if they're not willing to, then you know that.
Erica, as a newer coach, so Erica's one of our, not newer, but like newer to probably, I would say, business building, if that makes sense. So what did you feel like was most important to you, or like eye-opening when you read these?
I really liked the one that says you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, because I think that's a huge part of being a newer coach is, hype in your head, like, what am I going to say? Like, what if it's wrong? You know, so it's really true. Like, if someone's going to be with you, if they're going to sign up with you, it doesn't matter what you say, because it's already kind of like, it's going to follow through as it should, you know?
Yeah, it reminds me of when I was reading this. I don't know if it was this chapter or the next, but I was actually thinking about, it was a conversation Vanessa and I had a long time ago. We were driving to a Super Saturday event in Pittsburgh, and we were talking about our hero conversations and the way we were cold inviting. And it was like a eye-opening moment for both of us, because we were both like, oh, like, we haven't really been doing them right. Like, we've been doing them pretty much really cold, like, hey girl, do you want to join my challenge group, to like every person on Facebook. But you know what? Like, looking back, it still worked, right? Like, we were doing it totally wrong, but we were fearless. And I think that's like so important for new coaches to see, like, it's okay if you say the wrong thing. Like what you just mentioned, like, if it's the right person, they're going to join you, even if you get like your hey girl conversation totally wrong, or if you word vomit. So I'm glad that it made you feel a little bit better about that. Christina, do you have anything you want to add about the rules for reaching out, the ones from 71?
I think that my favorite one was, if you find yourself convincing, stop.
Yeah, like, how often do we do that? Like, I think sometimes that's what we think our job is to convince them to do business with us. How many of you have felt that way? Where you're like, I just need to convince them that they need this challenge bag. No. Thanks for sharing that. That was good. Okay, so I want to, because I was going to talk about this one last, but we kind of already alluded to it, so I want to go there now. And this was more so, I felt like she set the tone for this the whole way through the book, but I really saw it in the last chapter a lot. So here's what I've picked out about her. She absolutely, positively, 100% leads with the business opportunity. Yes, she sells skincare, but more than anything, she'll teach you how to build a business, a successful network marketing business. And that's really what it takes, is being relentless in the way that you share the opportunity. Not so much like, I think a lot of us come in and we think like, okay, I have to be all about health and fitness. And yeah, you do, because that's what's getting our clients results. But at the end of the day, like, the people who are having true income success and, like, you know, they're really making it in this business, they're the ones who are teaching others how to duplicate the business. So while yes, you did just sign up to be a motivator and a mentor for people for their wellness, at the end of the day, you signed up to teach someone how to build a business. And so I loved how unapologetic she was with the business opportunity. In fact, I sat there, and as I read some of the things that she would say to someone, I was like, wow, like, she is not messing around when it comes to presenting the opportunity. And like, I love how she's so blunt too. Like, she, like, whenever somebody was, you know, blowing her off, or she was talking about how they were just like kind of lukewarm, she's like, well, clearly you're not ready for the business opportunity. Do you have any friends who are? And I was like, whoa, like, I am not that pushy, but I'm not as good at recruiting as she is. So I really thought, wow, that's awesome. So I want to know from each of you, what were your biggest takeaways about her conversation suggestions?
Go back to what you said about being pushy. There's something she said, I wrote it down somewhere, that being something is not being pushy.
Oh, I don't know. Does anybody know which line she's talking about?
I can't remember. Pushy.
She totally owns this though. Like, do you guys feel that way when you read that? You're like, I am not. Did anyone else feel that way? Like, I am not this blunt. Or are some of you like, no, I am this blunt? No. Look at all of us. We're like, no.
I mean, remember, I've had the book for a while and I had only listened to the beginning. I don't even really think I knew what it was. So yeah. I listened to it and I'm like, this is one of those books that you could listen to over and over again. Mm-hmm. For me, I mean, since I'm not reading it, like when you're listening, but I'll try to remember what that was. Mm-hmm. I felt like, repeat your question, because I had something to say.
Yeah, no, I just was like wondering what you guys felt like your biggest takeaways were. So like, when you listen to the way that she talks about the business opportunity, she's very unapologetic. What did you pick up where you're like, I should start implementing that?
I just think you have to be so much more confident. And she's like, when she talked, I mean, you know what the products do, and you know the benefits, and you know about the income opportunity. But when she kept saying how she always draws it back to them, like, do you have any friends who are like ... just like the person you're talking to, I was like, that's pretty good. And so you always need to kind of, I don't know, do that fact checking and know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
I like too that she takes you through, you need to, don't ask them, okay, now go watch the 30 coach videos in the back office, and you can do them at your own pace. She's like, no, you tell them what you say, you've got to watch these videos, you've got to watch them by the end of the next week, and you've got to sign your first coach, go.
Yes.
Whatever it is. I like that. Like, I'm not like that.
Yeah, Melanie said that. I just listened to the Rising Stars call, and she said that that's one of the things she's been doing with the new coach is like, you just tell them the things to do initially, because it can be so overwhelming that go weed through all this information. It can just be really overwhelming, which is true.
I think we're really good at overtraining new coaches and totally overwhelming them with like too much content. There was a spot, let's see. I don't know if I started or what I did, but it reminded me of kind of like the share a cart option. Like, she basically said, like, I forget, I underlined exactly how she said it, but she basically says, don't let them make the decision. Like, you're going to walk them through the sale until the close. And that's what I love about how we have that option with share a cart now through Beachbody, because it used to be, okay, here, go buy the challenge pack. Well, let me know when you order. No, like, she says, like, you're going to do it tomorrow and we're going from there. So I like that about her. I like how.
Yeah, she's really big on the 24 to 48 hour thing, which I think is a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was sort of like, so my number 3 question that I want to talk to you guys about was talking about the essence of time. And she really spells it out. I think it was in chapter 6. So in chapter 6, she really breaks it down through, like, you have 24 to 48 hours to close the sale, and that's it. But can you see how this can be helpful in your closing? Like, getting a time on the calendar. Like, she's really good at that. And that is something that I think is so important. Like, okay, I'll talk to you on Wednesday at 12 o'clock, like, especially when they're interested in the business opportunity. Not as much with a challenge pack, but like getting them on the phone or getting them on a Zoom or even FaceTime. Like, I think when they're just prospected, like they're just wanting more info, I feel like Zoom is really scary to them. Do you guys feel that way? Whereas if I'm like, hey, can I FaceTime you tomorrow at noon? They're much like more perceptive to that. At least that's what I found. But I loved her essence of time. How many of you feel like you're giving it too long of a window? Yeah. Do you put a time frame on it?
I do now.
Right now I will.
It takes practice, because sometimes you're in a hurry and you're just like default to your old way. So it's really a conscious effort right now to become out of it.
How are you guys doing with Share a Cart? Are you using it or not really?
I love it.
You love it. What do you love about it?
It's so much better. Well, I used to send a page of instructions. It was like a page-long set of instructions. First you do this, then you do that. And I always felt like that page of instructions overwhelmed people, because if I get a page of instructions, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do that later. I'm not going to do that now, because those instructions are too long and I need a big chunk of time to go through them.
Yeah.
And so now I love the Share a Cart, because I can just say, okay, I placed your order for you. All you've got to do is complete the order. But now I'm going to say, can you complete it by tomorrow?
Yeah. I think that's the missing piece of, here it is, and it's due back by tomorrow. Or if they say they don't get paid till Friday, okay, can we talk Friday at noon? Like, will it be bought by then?
So, Share a Cart question. So say I put in chocolate as their flavor. Can they modify that when they get the link? Like, I know they can remove things, but okay.
They can modify it. They can change things. Yeah.
So if you like, what I sent the information to somebody and she's like, oh, that was more expensive than I thought. And I'm like, well, I think, if you're not ready for Energize, you can remove that from your cart. And then she's like, oh, and the price went down, and then she bought it. And I send her a sample, and then,
Are you guys always adding on? So like when you send your Share a Cart, are you always putting Energize in for them, or are you always like talking with them about it first?
Well, she was low on energy, and I had just listened to Tim Fitzpatrick National Wake Up Call.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's an excellent idea. So that's why. That's why I did it. What do you think about can you send a share cart to your coaches or no with the new energized flavor? I was like,
I don't think your current coaches. I think if they're signing up to be a coach. Yeah. Erica, thanks for getting that excerpt. That's exactly the one I think Michelle was looking for. She put in the chat, Michelle, but it's the one about being pushy. Yeah. It's true. And I love how she was like, be concise. Like, if you're going to get them on a call, it's 15 minutes and then get them off the phone. Sometimes I think that's a fear for people, having to talk to them too long. And then the word vomit. How many of you had the word vomit in the beginning? You overshared way too much. That was totally
I think that's easy to happen too, because you're excited, especially if you're new to the products and have good results recently. It's easy to be excited. You know, you're like, oh my gosh. And then if you have like the income thought in your mind too, it's easy to be excited. Not that you're trying to, but.
I think too, when people ask like, okay, well, tell me about Beachbody On Demand, or tell me about Shakeology. And so then you're like, oh, okay. Instead of saying, well, let me ask you some questions first. You say, okay, so here it is. I'm going to tell you everything so that you have all the information. And now I definitely say, before I overwhelm you with pages of information, let me ask you a few questions about your goals and, why you're interested in this.
And I feel like sometimes like a new coach, like they think that like that's scary to them when people are like, can you tell me more? They're like, oh no, like, no, I can't tell you more. I only know what the back office says. So then they do just that. Like Vanessa said, they're like, let me blast you with everything in the back office. And then they're like, yeah, no thanks. Erica, how do you feel? I want your insight just because you're new. Like, do you feel like you overwhelm people, or what are your thoughts?
Yes, I actually just did this last week. And I feel like it also depends on your audience. I'm definitely more professional with people who aren't like close friends or family, but my cousin asked me about Beachbody On Demand, and I found myself like, I unraveled this massive message to her about Beachbody On Demand, and then somehow I got into T20, and it was just like a massive chaos mess. And I even apologized to her. I'm like, that was so much information I just threw at you. I'm sorry. Like, can I clarify anything for you? But it's so easy to do. And like Michelle said, whenever you're excited about it, like, you want everyone to love this the way that you do. So you just want to like keep pushing, and you think if you push, well, that's just going to suck them right in. And I don't think that's how it works, but it's super easy to do.
Yeah. Because like you feel like you almost feel like that's in your back pocket, like for a confidence boost. You're like, okay, I can give them all this information and hopefully make the sale. Whereas if you're just like, can you tell me more about your goals? Like, I feel like to a new coach, that's really scary because you're going to get a broad answer. But I love that you're seeing it and you're learning that. That's awesome. It's fun that you're on here this morning with us.
I love, especially like I so wish I had this as a new coach, the objections chapter.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like
even now it was a good reminder of like, wait a minute.
It really is. Yeah, it really, really is. And just for, and again, keeping with the mindset that a no is a good thing.
I like her response to the pyramid scheme too.
Is that what you're looking for? Did you read that part where they're like, is this a pyramid scheme? And she explains it and she's like, was that what you're looking for? Like me, like putting it on them. Like, do you want a pyramid scheme? Yeah.
So I don't know what chapter this was in. I'm only at the objections chapter. I just started it. But I like when she said, don't say things that you don't want them to do. Oh my gosh, I spent 2 years researching this business before I got started. Is that what you want them to do? Like, I was like, yeah, okay. So I thought that was a really good tip. And obviously, since I remembered it, it meant something too.
Yeah.
I did the products first before I did. Well, I mean, if you don't want them to do the products and then register later to do the business, then don't tell them that.
I know, and I did the same thing. I'm like, I was a challenger first, and I got results. I'm like, what am I saying? Like, I don't want them to do that. Oh, that's funny. Christina, have you gotten that objection a lot, like the pyramid scheme one? Or you just like how she answered?
I did. I like how she answered, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm just now getting restarted with actually interacting with people. So this time I haven't so much, but last time I did quite a bit. Yeah.
I think as soon as you like go through what it really is and you debunk their fear, they're like, oh, never mind. Like it's almost like what she said, like you kind of want to put the ball on them, like you make them feel a little silly for asking the question. Because they do. They ask
I like how she answers questions with questions that keep the conversation moving.
Mm-hmm. It's like going to therapy. If you've ever been to therapy, they don't answer your questions. You answer your own question and they walk you around it. So, yeah, that's cool. She said, there was a quote and I just loved it. It was right at the end. She said, you have a gift to share and you're looking for those who want what you have to offer. How much more powerful would we be in our invites if that's what we believed every time we sat down to send a message, that we are just offering a gift. I'm not sending you a cold invite. It's not dirty. It doesn't feel yucky. It's fun. And if you don't want my present, that's okay. Like there's lots of people who do, but I just love that. I actually wrote it down and I put it on my computer screen so that when I sit down to do my work, I just kind of remind myself gently, like you're helping someone, you're not doing something sleazy. So I love that quote. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up this morning about these few chapters?
I feel like this book is, you know, we've read so many books. Well, now, right, it's been 4 years, so I've read lots of books, and this is really the first book that has. I just feel like there's so much clarity for implementation, and I don't feel like. I mean, this is such. I so wish this book was the first book that we had read.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like going forward, this will always be the first book. I don't, it won't be the Slate Edge. It won't be the other ones that we used to read. It'll be, you need to read this. Michelle, I don't even know if I would do this and then Compound Effect.
Yeah, me too.
This is explaining the business. And that's what so many, I mean, no one comes to you typically with network marketing background. Like this basically teaches you, this is network marketing. Here's how it works. Because I don't think people get it. Right? Erica, what would you say? First book you should read is this one?
Absolutely. I think, I mean, it gives you a lot of background detail that like, I mean, even through the trainings, you get so much, but she is really hardcore about this. I mean, like, you can tell she doesn't mess around and she tells you that, but, you know, it doesn't really set in until she's giving you, like, all these situations and how she handles them. And, I mean, I wrote down pages just of her conversations just to, like, go back to later. And I think it's super beneficial to have.
Yeah. Like imagine if every new coach we trained, this is the only way they knew how to do business. Like, right? That would be incredible. So what happens is some of them don't read this for months and then they're like relearning behaviors. Like I'm sure Erica's reading this and being like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, or oh, I could have done this differently. Whereas if you just say from the start, okay, welcome to the team. Listen to this book or read this book, and we'll have a one-on-one call here in a few weeks. Like, I just think it's really powerful. So I love that you guys have been enjoying it and been so supportive of getting others on board. There's a lot of people on our team reading this book right now. Like, they're not all on the calls, but we probably have at least 20 reading it with us, at least, which is awesome. So check in with your friends who are reading, who haven't been getting on the call, and like just see how they like it, what their takeaways are. Anything else? So we have, what's next week? So we have to do 9, 10, 11, I think, right? Is that what's left? How many chapters are there? I know we finished by the end of the month. 9, 10, 11. Okay, yeah, because there's still more after that. Oh, chapter 16. Did you guys read the title of that? It's Fuck Fear. She gets really blunt at the end, I guess, but that's good. All right. Do you want to take a quick picture? We want to do that real quick for your stories. Some mornings we forget, but people like to see the team aspect. All right. Are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Got it. I'll send it to you. Have an awesome weekend, and I appreciate your time. I will see you guys. So remember, we'll go back to Thursday. We just didn't do Thursday because of Valentine's Day. So see you on Thursday. Hope you get caught up on all your reading. Hope you have a good weekend. See you guys.